The GoreCast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head,
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
My time. Welcome, everybody, to another tantalizing episode of the GoreCast Unplugged, Reginald versus Remake. I don't know why I'm yelling. I'm very excited for this episode. Okay. I was expecting a little bit more back, but okay. How are you doing tonight, Carter?
Hey! I'm doing good, dude. How about you?
Obviously, I'm overly excited because I'm the only one yelling right now. But I have a feeling this is going to be a precursor to people might be yelling by the end of this episode because some opinions are going to get dropped, some feelings might get hurt, and I won't care. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those shows, guys. So
People make people cry.
Yes. Is there anybody in the chat at all saying hellos or anything?
Oh, we got Cinema Reaper. Giz stopped by. He actually managed to stay awake and remember to tune in this week, so he's happy for the little victories.
Yeah.
And we've got Raid on Area 51. First time in the chat, so
welcome to the show. I was going to think of something better to say, but then I was like, the show works. So if you're unfamiliar, if you're new to the chat, like somebody is right now, what we do here on Original versus Remake is it's pretty self-explanatory. We have a movie that has an original and a remake, and we verse it. We give our opinions on which one we like better, which one sucks. Fun stuff regarding originals and remakes. So then we also have news bits. We do news bits here at the GoreCast, keeping you all up to date with the most up to date in the horror news. So
anything good this time?
I think so. I don't know why I went into that voice for, but yeah, I think we do got some good news today. Got thrice news bits today. First one, news bit one, is a Netflix film that is going to be released very soon, and it's called The Devil All the Time. And in this film, a Ohio town and some neighboring backwoods, we have a unholy preacher, a twisted couple, and a crooked sheriff. They all converge around a young Arvin Russell as he fights the evil forces that threaten his family. Coming to Netflix September 16th. Pretty big cast here.
I was going to say, like, the cast caught my attention.
Yeah. We got Tom Holland. He plays young Arvin Russell. Bill Skarsgård. Robert Pattinson, the Bat. And Sebastian Stan of Winter Soldier fame.
There we go. I was like, dude, that name sounds familiar.
So we got a bunch of comic book ties to this film, and then we got Pennywise. So I mean, we got Spider-Man, got the Batman, we got the Winter Soldier, and we got Pennywise, the dancing clown. So as of right now, a trailer has not been released, but according to the article, one should be coming fairly shortly, since we're about a little over a month away from the release date on Netflix, September 16th. So looks like it might be interesting. Like I said, there's more cast members that they mentioned, but these are the ones that I thought kind of stood out to me, so that's why I jotted them down. So, not much to go off of because it doesn't really tell us a whole lot, but the cast.
But I mean,
the cast is appealing.
Right, I was gonna say like the cast is pretty good, so if nothing else, that ought to be intriguing. Just see how everybody plays out.
Yeah. So, like I said, look for that to hit Netflix September 16th. Second bit of news bits. Eli Roth's History of Horror is returning to AMC for its second season. The first season came out in 2018. If you're not familiar with it, it's pretty much Eli Roth hosts pretty much what it says, History of Horror. They go over kind of different genres. I know in the first season, I think they did like slashers and poltergeists and a few other different topics. I can't remember off the top of my head because it's been a couple of years. And they kind of pretty much had a whole bunch of guests of the field to kind of talk about, the impact of those certain genres and stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty interesting the first time around. I remember, like I said, it was in 2018. I have AMC like Prime or Plus or whatever. It's like a couple extra bucks a month. I get all of like their like original programming like early. So it was a series that was like one episode per week, but they had the whole series available like from the get-go. So I just binge watched the whole series in one sitting, and it was pretty interesting. I believe if you didn't see it when it originally aired, I believe they have it available on Shudder. Last time I checked, so if you want to take a look before season 2 comes out, you can take a look at season 1. But this year, we have topics that include magic-wielding witches, misshapen monsters. You know what that means. Infamously evil youngsters. Stop blowing. Hell houses and body horror. Interviews feature Stephen King, Quentin Tarantino, Jordan Peele, Rob Zombie, John Landis, Tom Savini, Slash, and many, many more. I put Slash.
I wish I actually liked him.
Slash?
Not Slash. Roth.
I was gonna say.
I dig the shit out of it. No. I dig the shit out of Slash. I just can't handle Roth, man. He bugs the fuck out of me.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't think he really talks a whole lot during it, so it's very minimal Roth. It's more the interviewees. There's a bunch more people, but like I said, I only have just little bits of room of paper, so I probably have a whole like sheet full of just who's going to be on there. Right. And that will debut October 10th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on AMC. Normally, that's going to be a part of their Fear Fest that they do every Halloween season, where they play nonstop horror movies for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, however long. They always do the usual like Halloween marathon all day and a Friday the 13th marathon all day, and then just a bunch of actual other crap,
right?
That I don't care about. So, yeah, should be interesting. And the next and last bit of news, we got some Hulu news. Books of Blood is going to be hitting Hulu. It is based on a short story written by Clive Barker. Books of Blood takes a journey into uncharted, stupid fan, and forbidden territory through 3 tales tangled in space and time. This will not be connected to the 2019 film that was released by the same name. This will be different adaptations of the stories, and it will hit Hulu on October 7th.
Actually pretty stoked on that one.
I want to say I'm a big Clive Barker fan. I like the first couple Hellraiser films. Other than that, like I haven't really read any of his like novels and stuff like that. So
Yeah, no, he's hooked me. So I'm kind of looking forward to this one.
okay, but that sums up the news today. We are going to move into the Suspiria 2018 and 19. I almost said 2077. It's way in the future. 1977 versus 2018. Are you ready for this? Because if you guys didn't remember, we were supposed to do this last week, but computer issues happened, so we're doing it this week. But I do remember a couple weeks ago when we announced that this was mine and Carter's first viewing of both films, I believe. Yeah. So,
because I remember when the remake came out, and I kind of kept meaning to get around to seeing it, and then I just never did. And so when this was picked for the show, I was like, "Oh, sweet," because it was something I'd been meaning to get around to and shit.
It's one of those movies that I constantly heard about. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so great, so awesome movie." I would see scenes from it and stuff like History of Horror, like stuff like that, where there's like documentaries or whatever, countdowns of like horror movie history things. And that was one of the a film that always popped up with a couple of scenes here and there, but I never really got down to watching it. I was kind of excited about the remake because, like I said, I knew how popular the original was,
right.
But my lazy ass just didn't go watch it. So until I had to.
Dude, like I said, that's how it went down for me.
So we'll go ahead and start here with the original from 1977. We follow Susie Bannion or Bannon. She arrives to a dancing studio in Germany. The night that she arrives, there is a young woman who's trying to flee the dance studio. There's a giant rainstorm going on, and a lot of craziness is happening. Girl leaves in the opposite direction. Susie tries to get into the studio. She buzzes in. The person's like, "Get out of here! No, not coming." Pretty much. I don't remember exactly what she said. So do not quote me if that's what she said, because I don't think it was nah. So
close. You're close.
Yeah. Okay. So the name of the student that flees is Pat Hingle, or Patricia Hingle. I don't know if she's called Patricia or Pat. I don't remember. But she ends up running to a friend's apartment where not good stuff happens to her. Okay. I thought I heard things falling. She Johnny may or may not be his house may be falling apart. So she goes to the apartment to try to get away from what's going on in the house. Obviously, we don't know what's going on because the movie just started. She gets killed by an unseen person, except a hairy arm. That's all you really see of.
Yeah, right.
It's really kind of a weird scene because she's just looking out the window and then just like a couple of weird eyes just kind of appear, but they're not attached to a face or a head or anything. Just two eyes just appear from out of the window.
I kind of felt like that set the tone. I felt like that kind of set the tone for like how everything else went in the movie.
Yeah.
Just kind of randomly bizarre, not quite fitting in.
Yep. She is killed in a very like I don't know if it's weird saying this, like a really cool little death that she has. She gets stabbed multiple times. Right in the heart. We actually see the heart getting stabbed from her. The unseen person kind of wraps her up in some wire or something, and she kind of falls out the window. And when she falls, falls through the window of like the ceiling. When she falls, the rope kind of almost makes a noose and hangs her. So she's kind of just hanging there. And then also some of the debris that came from the ceiling kills her friend too. Falls right on top of her, and she gets impaled by some glass and other such. And welcome to Suspiria. That's
right. Like that. No, like I said, dude, that kind of set the tone for the whole movie.
I mean, like one of the biggest things that a lot of people say with Dario Argento is like how visual and like almost beautiful his movies are, which I completely agree with. Especially with this movie, like the colors that's used, the certain camera angles, just the way he shoots everything is amazing. Like it definitely gets my double thumbs up, buzz thumbs up on that. But then the rest of the movie happens. So the next morning, Susie returns to the school to try to get in because she, like I said, she wasn't able to get entry the night before. She's introduced to Miss Tanner, who is a head instructor. Eventually, she's introduced to a few of the student or the class. I would say other dancers. I don't know if they're students, classmates, whatever the fuck you call them. Other dancers. One of them being Olga, who she originally is set up with in her apartment, I believe, originally. And then there's also Sarah, who she kind of starts, kind of talking to. Susie begins to experience some unsettling encounters, and she loses consciousness. When she comes to, she finds herself thrown out of her apartment by Olga and is living at the school now instead of the apartment. She's actually in next, like neighbors or whatever, just ends up being neighbors with Sarah. They confide in each other quite a bit. Sarah tells Susie that she's the one who denied her entrance. She's the one that said, "No, go away." I don't know why these voices, I don't know where they're coming from. It sounds like Emperor Palpatine here for a second, like, do it. So
it works.
Yeah. So yeah, so she says that she's the one that denied her entrance at the school the night Pat went missing. She kind of starts telling Susie that Pat was kind of acting strangely before she died. And she promises to show Susie her diary. Susie, I randomly lose consciousness again. I can't remember if they were at doing class again or something, but she just keeps losing consciousness. She's not a...
I was going to say, this kind of becomes a revolving thing at that point.
Yeah. She's in the room, and Sarah's in there with her, and then like when she loses consciousness, Jesus Christ, the bathroom light in Susie's room kind of goes on, and like Sarah sees it and kind of knows somebody's in the bathroom, so she books it out of the room, tries to get away from a unseen assailant. That's another thing, is everybody that's being chased don't know who it is because we don't see besides arms and stuff like that. She falls into a pit of razor wire, which that was kind of cool. Just the
way she fell into it was just so weird, though.
Yeah, she fell. The wrestling fan in me, who like watches a lot of barbed wire matches, I just like saw that happen, and I was like, yes. I was thinking of Mick Foley at the time, and I was like, what would Mick Foley do in this situation? And it's one of those like things where it's like she makes it worse, obviously, by trying to get out, because it just keeps getting wrapped around and getting further deeper into the pit.
And like, I also understand, like, that was also supposed to be part of the scene. Like, something bad's supposed to happen to her. It's not going to be something she can get out of. But it really did seem like she was making it more worse than she was
better
helping herself to get out of it.
You in that situation, like you said, you're panicking. You're like, holy crap! For one thing, this hurts because you're just like, wrapped up in barbed wire. So eventually, Sarah gets her throat slit right there on her throat, and she dies. Don't remember what happens. So shortly after that, Susie kind of begins to look into Sarah's disappearance, and she contacts Frank Mandel, which I believe is Sarah's former psychiatrist. Is it Sarah's or is it Pat's? Yeah, Sarah's. That's what I thought.
Sarah's.
And also consults Professor Mullis, who studies the occult, while trying to talk to Frank Mandel. He introduces her to Dr. Millis or Professor Millis because he's like, well, the things that you're kind of talking about, this is his, he's the expert on all that kind of shit. So she kind of talks to him to try to get an idea of the cult, and because they start to believe that like the head instructors and stuff at the school maybe either an occult or witches, like they don't know, so they're just trying to get Susie's just trying to get some information to kind of connect the dots because weird things are happening. Maggots are falling from ceilings.
Okay, see, I was waiting for that. That shit, dude, I dug the shit out of that scene. I don't know why, but that was just cool as shit the way it started off so simple and then just became like this big, massive kind of thing that affected everybody.
Yeah, because like that spoiled food up in like the attic or something like that.
Right.
And they just like multiplied with maggots and they just like started falling from the ceiling. So everybody all the dancers and stuff had to move down into like the lower floor, and they made like a makeshift like tent and everything for them all to sleep in. There's some weird shadow work going on with one of the instructors that were sleeping like on the other side of like the blankets.
And the creepy repair guy.
The what's that?
Creepy repair guy.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember his name, but he's just always kind of making like the weird creepy eyes of the women as he's going by and shit like that. Like he was kind of standing up over the curtain staring at him. Like I always kind of expected more out of him.
Kind of like Wade when the two girls were looking at him. They're like, hee 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 hee. I just tee-hee-heed.
You did very well.
Deal with it. So there's also a blind guy who gets killed. That was very sad. He played the piano, kind of like Ray Charles, even though he didn't die by getting eaten by a dog or anything. But they were both blind and they both played piano, so it's the only coordination.
Dude went out like a boss. Fuck you,
yeah.
Fuck you, I'm out of here.
That was his dog too, wasn't it? Like his
yeah.
That was
it was weird because his seeing eye dog had to wait outside while he played piano for the dancers and shit. But he bit I can't remember the woman's name, but he bit her kid, and so the head instructor, threatened to call the cops. And after he got kind of hateful back to her, she's like, "Well, fuck it, you're fired." And he's like, "Yeah, fuck you, I'm out of here." And then later on, we see him get taken out.
Yeah, it's not. The dog really wasn't serving his purpose there, because that does not help his ailments there by killing him. I don't know. Maybe the dog was tired of working, so he was like, "Oh, knock the guy off and free to do whatever I want now." I don't know. So eventually, Susie kind of like she keeps remembering Pat saying saying something when she was leaving the house the first night. She couldn't really hear because of the rain and everything like that, but she just keeps like looking, like thinking back and trying to almost like read the words, like her lips and stuff like that, which she's finally able to do. And she finds like a hidden doorway in the house. She then once she goes into the hidden doorway, she finds like the instructors kind of talking, plotting Susie's death because they want to. Trying to remember if this is the remake or the original. They're trying to reincarnate one of the remake. Son of a bitch. Okay, never mind. We'll get to that crap when we get into the remake. That was not good. While she's there, she finds what is believed to be Helena Markos. I think she was like a decrepit body, or is that the remake too? Am I just, god damn it.
Remake. Basically, she found out that everybody at the head was like a coven of witches.
Yeah. While Susie's trying to flee, she knocks over a crystal bird and it breaks, and everybody hears it. Ooh, I'm just trying to. That awakens Markos, who then resurrects Sarah to kill Susie. Susie ends up killing Markos, and Sarah vanishes. Poof. Susie flees the school as it begins to start falling apart. The whole coven is killed on the inside. Susie escapes with a smile on her face while the school is in flames. The end. Yeah.
See, and I like, as cool as the visuals were, dude, I just did not like the fucking movie. It was just such a slow pace for me, and I don't know, like, I just, again, it's got amazing visuals and shit, you know, like as we talked about with just the way he used the cameras and the angles and shit. But it was slow paced, and I could never really get into, you know, like worrying about any of the fucking characters.
Yeah. I did a little pros and con little thing here that I wrote down for each movie. So for the original, my pros, I mean, we kind of already said it, like the beautiful scenery, like just the great work by the director, the great kills. Like I said, the beginning scene with the death of Pat was really great. And then the death of Sarah and the razor wire, the death of the blind guy being attacked by a dog. Like they had some really great kills in the movie. My cons were it's a weak plot. Like
Yeah,
it's a simple plot. You kind of know in a way where they're going with it, but then like I don't know if they know where they're going with it because
I was
just
gonna say, it just
weird
seemed like
shit
at times,
happens.
right? It just seems like there's several times where it's like it's gonna go further with the story, then it stops, takes like a kind of a break for a second, and then picks back up. It just didn't like have a really good flow for me.
No, and then the other thing is I put subpar acting. Like the acting was really not
Yes,
that great by anybody. Like nobody really like we're like, okay, well the movie wasn't that great, but this person, they did their role very well. Like nobody stood out to me. And it was
no,
just like, here's a bunch of people, point a camera and go. Like there wasn't really the dialogue really had no like substance to it. I don't know. It was hard for me to and I watched it twice. Like I watched the first time and I told somebody I'm like I didn't really like it. They're like, "Well, were you not paying attention?" I'm like, I think that was the problem. I was paying attention. Like if I
yeah,
wasn't paying
no, dude.
attention, I may have liked it better because I wouldn't have been drugged down by the terrible the acting and the weak plot. But
Oh
and then the
yeah,
second,
no. And
go
for
ahead.
me, like the remake is longer, and
Ugh.
even though the original is shorter, it felt longer. Like things were just dragging out too much for me.
Yeah. And then like the second time around watching it, I'm like, I hate this movie more the second time because I had to watch it again because I'm like, nothing different. Like I'm like, did I miss something or what? And I just like I watched again and I'm just like, no, like it's still the acting's bad, the plot is just not there. And I I I made this known probably quite a few times here is I'd rather have a storyline be somewhat coherent and then like okay kills rather than having
Yeah.
great kills and not a good story. So it's like I just feel like the kills were great. They weren't over the top like every other scene, gore was happening. Like they worked out the kills and stuff like that fairly well. They just didn't. It's like the Dario Argento, he put more into the visuals than the substance, the story.
Yeah.
And I think it's just to me, it was a hit. So my overall look is it's the best way to approach a film is ignore the plot and enjoy the images. That's
I'm gonna go
that's
with skip it because there's other movies that are good kills and good writing.
so. How much hate are we getting in the comments right now?
None really.
That's okay. I'm very surprised because I don't know. Gives whatever you said. I don't know. Witches and warlocks and contortionists and whatever, all that mumbo jumbo. I don't know. I don't know what any of those words mean. So I don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm just
All right.
okay.
So trailer and remake.
Yeah. The remake's not gonna be pretty, ladies and gentlemen. So
I thought it was good.
oh, trailer. Just hit the trailer.
Welcome to our academy. I'm Miss Tanner, one of the instructors.
Nice to meet you.
So, you moved in here.
I really didn't want to.
I bet we'll do nicely together. I think you're sweet.
Even if I have the name of a snake?
They tell me you have to give me $50 a week.
Yeah.
In advance. How'd you like it at Olga's?
It's nice.
Well, what is it?
I just wanted to talk to you about some of the things that have been happening here lately.
Sarah. I once read that names which begin with the letter S are the names of snakes.
No, as for snakes. Yeah.
All right. So we've got
That's a-
same movie. This time it came out in 2018. Now, for the main storyline, it's the same, right? It's about witchcraft.
Yes.
Okay. But like you pointed out, they've added bits and pieces to it. So like we've got we went a little farther with what was her name? Patricia talking to the doctor and kind of going into depth a bit, you know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like that they kind of tried to, flesh her character out a little bit more because they didn't. There was nothing really in the original besides like the couple of minute dialogue that she had before she got killed. So it was nice to get a little bit more with Pat before she dies. So I mean, I'm not saying I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm trying to say.
I liked it. Well, okay, but the reason I liked it is because it added a little bit more of that whole, like, is she just fucking nuts? or is this really something going on in the school? So I kind of thought it added a little bit more reflection to the storyline.
We get like, I think, a little bit more from like this other students, a little bit more, I think, in this one than we did the original. Like Olga is like accusing the matrons of like having something to do with like the disappearance of Pat. We don't really get that in the original. Susie's a little bit. She does a little bit more into this because she starts dancing a lot more. She becomes like the head dancer in some performance that they do or something. I didn't write down. They had a specific name for what it was, but
yeah, they were doing.
And like the one scene where she's first starting to do it, like she's starting to do it, and then like it's having really violent effects on Olga, which I didn't understand. Because she's like dancing, and then like Olga's in that room with the mirrors all the way around, and like as she's dancing, Olga's like, and like her body. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I took that as a sacrifice moment, because as she was getting tattered and torn, I forgot her name already. Susie was getting like that energy. She was getting better and sharper, and we saw that the second time when the jumper. God, I can't remember that lady's name, but she was one of the better jumpers of the group. And when Susie was trying to work on that, we saw her like fall and snap a leg, and Susie became a better jumper. So you see a little bit more of that kind of witchcrafty kind of thing going on in this one, a lot more than you did in the original.
Because I do remember that scene where Susie's kind of saying like, I can't jump, I'm like grounded or something like that. So then when she starts doing that, that's when she's starting to be, okay, that makes, it makes, I'm not saying I did, I guess I did understand it, but it just, I don't know. It was done over the top. That's why I think more where I was going, like with her, the whole Olga, like everything going on with her. I think it was just kind of over the top for me. It was, I don't know. It was a bit ridiculous. Like I said, I understood what they were doing, but I was just like, okay.
And here, like, I thought it fit everything a lot more. The only part that I wasn't really on board for was you had, we got a lot more into the doctor's history with him getting separated from his wife and stuff like that.
Which was played by Tilda Swinton for some reason. She did a dual. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
No, I didn't notice that.
That was her. Because like when he came up, I'm like, he looks. I know he's supposed to be old, but like there's something going on with that makeup where it's like, it's weird. It's like thick.
It fucked me up. Yeah, like it fucked me up because it didn't look like we found an old actor. It was like you could definitely wear makeup.
Tell it was somebody younger. And so I'm like, I didn't realize it at first, but then when I was going in to start doing my notes, that's when I saw all that.
But it wasn't like necessarily bad. It just stood out. If that makes sense. But no, like so it was kind of weird doing his backstory along with everything that was going on already in the story. They did wrap it up, and I liked it, but it was still just kind of a weird. Like there were so many fucking trails to follow as this movie was progressing.
And this movie really didn't hide the fact that they were a coven of witches, because like there was a lot more going on with the coven itself. They had a vote where they ended up voting Mother Markos as the head witch, and the group started to begin to conspire to have Susie as the host for the aging leader, so that she can take over Susie's body instead of this decrepit, old, wrinkly pile of crap that she is. So.
And I will say it, like, I dig the hell out of Tilda Swanson, dude. Like, she's just a phenomenal actress. But I also really dug her in this one, man. Like, she kind of, she's that hard ass as the instructor / head of the coven and stuff like that. But you can see she really has some sort of care and compassion for
Susie, yeah.
God, I have no clue why I keep forgetting her fucking name. But I mean, she takes so much personal time in this one just to sit down with her and like, oh, you're tired. Don't worry about it, dude. It happens. Oh, you're bleeding from your eyes. It's okay. Like, she takes so many moments to just sit with her and stuff. And so you can kind of tell, like, her character is conflicted. Yeah, this is what the house wants to do, but,
Yeah, because that's, what was her name now? Tilda Swinton. She plays Madame Blanc. So, like we were saying, like you're saying, Susie, like, quickly, like, rises up the ranks and becomes, like, her protege. And then Klemper, I think that's the name of the doctor. He becomes kind of suspicious of the stuff that's going on, and he summons Sarah to meet with him, and he actually shows her some of Pat's journal, which kind of ties into the original. Sarah wanted to show Susie Pat's journal and stuff like that. I gotta turn the page if I know where I'm going. So after returning to the school after that, Pat's returning to the school. I think she's found by the witches, and they like try to sabotage her during one of their dance like recitals. Or I'm like, I don't know, talking on my ass when it comes to dance stuff. I think it's a dance recital, play, whatever the fuck they were doing. They're dancing, but they like cut some holes or something in the floor, and like Pat like breaks her ankle, I think, or rolls her leg. So like in the middle of like a performance, she like rolls her leg, and like they all like take her out, and Klemper, like, he becomes he's like, okay, well, I just talked to this chick about everything going on, and now shit's starting to happen to her. So he ends up returning home, and like you were saying, like, we get into this, him and his wife. He goes home, and his wife just shows up. They're walking to the border of West Germany, and they are attacked by some of the Kevin. I don't know if I missed this or not, but was his wife real, or was it like, I can't remember if I missed it, but like, was his wife really there? Because I know like his wife was missing for a while. That's why I thought. Like, I don't know if I just missed that part, and I just like, 'cause she's like, I don't think she's mentioned much after that part. So I don't know if she was there and like, she just killed too, or.
And that's another one of those, like, there's so much more visually in this one. The talking to like the wife, the talking to the friend that turn out to like not be there, their hallucinations here and there, stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot more visually kind of mind games going on in this one that there were in the original.
I think they tried to, because with me saying like the original not having, me personally, not having a lot of plot, I think they tried to make up for it with the remake and put maybe too much plot, because there was a lot of different shit going on.
No, man, like, yeah, there was a lot more going on, but it was all, for me anyway, still entertaining. Like I said, it was weird, but I liked the doctor being kind of thrown into the mix. I liked seeing that kind of that downward spiral that Patricia was going through, because again, it adds, is she just batshit crazy, or is there things in the dark fucking all these dancers up? You know what I mean? And so it made it, for me, a lot more entertaining, And as much as I liked the visuals on the original, I fucking loved the visuals on this one, dude.
See, I don't remember anything really standing out to me visually in this one, in the remake.
Oh, dude, like, I don't know, man. Just I'm trying to think of like a really good one that I dug on.
It's hard because it was a couple weeks when we watched it, so it's like I haven't watched the remake since we were getting ready for the episode, so it's been about a week or so, but I just don't remember anything really standing out to me like it did in the original.
Okay. Towards the end, when everything goes to shit, just the way Susie standing there amongst the masses and kind of just the way she interacts with everybody that's still standing or not standing. I thought that was a very cool visual. You know, it was a kind of pan back, the way they fucking worked the camera. It, to me, like, really sold that fucking scene of what was going on in there and shit.
Okay. Getting towards the end of the film, we have Susie is led to a ritual. She's kind of come to the, acceptance that she's going to be, the host for Mother Markos. Like, she kind of just, whatever. I don't know if it's due to obviously maybe they're influencing her. I don't know if she personally came to the decision herself.
She
But
kind of did. Like, she was down for it.
yeah.
The only one that was against it was Tilda's character.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
right at the, because there they are, almost on the finish line.
Madame Brock.
She's still like, I think we've got the wrong person. Like, she really did not want Susie to go through this.
Yeah, because she kind of at the beginning she was kind of like on board, but then as she kind of developed a relationship with Susie, that's when she was kind of like, yeah, I don't know about this, because she did want to see her.
Not to mention, she even points out, she's like, there's something different about her. She's got she's got strength in her. And I think she saw what nobody else was, that she was going to be a bigger player than everybody else gave her credit for.
So we get into the ritual. Olga, Sarah, and Patricia are being disemboweled to begin the Sabbath. Blanc, like you said, when you were just saying, Blanc tries to intervene. She tries to prevent, like you said, but she doesn't want this to happen for Susie. Susie. Markos attacks Blanc while Susie accepts her fate. Like I already said, I'm kind of going off my notes. For her to become a vessel for Markos. But then somehow she becomes Mother Suspiriorum. I don't remember like how that happened.
She was all along. Like that was kind of the thing. Like
I must have missed something. I don't know what it is.
I think like I said, when Tilda was like, dude, there's something special about her. I think she saw that because she was just gaining momentum too quickly, whereas everybody else is like, oh no, this is cool. We'll just empty out the shell, put Mother Markos in there. I think Tilda saw, she may not have known exactly what it was, but she realized like something was not exactly right with this woman. Okay. And she was Mother Suspiria. And so she then turned around and kicked Markos's ass and any of her followers.
Yeah, because she pretty much wiped out everybody who voted against her.
Right.
Voted for Markos. Klemper is there. I forgot he's part of the ritual, just laying on the ground.
He's the witness.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because there has to be a witness. I remember that now.
Yeah. And he was a part of the whole thing with Patricia and her diary. Like, he knew so much about it. They were like, oh, well, we need a witness. And they were like, oh, he's already here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. He's released the next morning. The school continues to operate. Susie, now Mother Superiorem, visits Klemper and tells him that his wife died after she was captured, because that's when she went missing. He didn't know what happened to her, and she went missing and stuff like that. Well, she ended up dying right after she was captured. Mother Superiorem was able to tell him that. And then he suffers a seizure, and that pretty much erases his memory. And then Susie leaves immediately after that, and that was pretty much the end of the movie.
Well, I'm passionate about the thing because she acknowledged, yeah, we needed a witness. You were there, but you don't need the memory of this. And so she took, because I mean, dude, that was some graphic shit that went on in that room. And so she did him a favor by taking that from him and kind of starting back from scratch before all this shit went south on him.
So I wrote down my pros and cons for this movie. Pros, not a goddamn thing, is what I wrote down. Not a goddamn thing. I was waiting for more of a rebuttal from us to say.
I did. It shocked me. Like I was expecting it. Like even the special effects, nothing.
No, not really. I mean, it's nothing.
She like ripped her fucking shit. Like there's a heart. There's nothing. The way that chick gets twisted in the fucking mirror room,
I told you I thought that was overdone to me. Like that was like a overkill. Like the whole her body contorting and everything when Olga when she like after the whole little dance thing, I was like, that's a bit
you know what?
much.
I will give you a bit much, but when you stop and take just that scene, the shit looked cool. Okay. I mean, she got right.
You ready for my cons?
Okay.
Okay. The pointless fucking hostage subplot. What the fuck?
Okay, that really kind of fucked me up because again, like I was cool with the doctor and the added scenes of Patricia being with the doctor and stuff like that. But yeah, that in the background as we're listening to the radio. It
doesn't pay off to anything. Like we hear it kind of at the beginning. It ties in a little bit because they're in the house, and like we hear the door open. We're like, that sounds like a bomb or something, and that's like all of it's woven through like news reports on the radio, and it's like it doesn't mean like it doesn't add to anything. Like it leads nowhere.
Well, okay, to a degree it does. It kind of adds to the realism because if you think about it, the time period. And that was on the radio only certain times, like when they sat down and when they're kind of fucking off, when the radio would be on and say like a normal, realistic time, you know, when they were sitting there having drinks or some shit, the radio was on the background. And in that time period, you were kind of very adamant about listening to what was going on in the news and shit. And so it did kind of add a more realistic situation to the time period.
It doesn't seem besides that I don't know, like I don't know if maybe like I get the wartime because of the time of the movie, but like the whole hostage thing, like that was just like I could see if maybe they have news reports about the war in general, like just like whatever they report or whatever, but just this random hostage thing, just like I don't know.
That's like I don't think it was like okay, even gives it's historical. The whole point is to illustrate when the film took place, and it's scrolled, and the social upheaval happening at the time there. You know, let's see the hostage bit. I mean, that then adds to the tension and the potential factors of mental breakdown of the girls in these conditions. I didn't even fucking think about that. I was just going for like just the, you know, like I said, it added to that time period and what they were going through.
I don't know if I'm against the whole them doing it. I'm against. I don't know if it just didn't lead to anything. Like we didn't hear anything about and a conclusion.
Actually,
did we? I must not have fucking watched this movie then because I don't know what the fuck
right.
I must have been having these Susie things where I just went unconscious for like 20 minutes and missed parts of it because they wrapped up everything by the time credits hit. They wrapped up the hostage situation, the doctor.
I sure as hell wasn't gonna fucking watch it again to see what I missed. So, because that movie, going into one of my other cons, too fucking long. We don't need a 2.5 hour horror movie. It just doesn't need to be done.
This shit was 2.5 hours long. Like I felt like we could have found a few spots to trim that shit down. You know, I'm not gonna lie, that was like getting a little bit long. And even as like, you know, the shit's wrapping up, we still have this weird kind of like fade off to the whatever the fuck the wall was at like the very, very end of it. Like we were kind of dragging out certain spots a little bit longer than we needed to. So like I feel like we could have shaved at least half an hour off shit easily.
It was painful.
But like I said, though, I dug the bomb thing. I dug the doctor because it, as much as like It wasn't necessarily like it didn't have to be, the bomb thing didn't have to be there. It did add to the realism of the whole thing.
Yeah. Another con. Takes all the good stuff from the original and ignores it.
What did they fucking take from the good? What good stuff did they take from the first?
My pros from the original was beautiful scenery and great kills. I don't think I saw that in this movie.
The bloodbath at the fucking end of this movie alone. Holy fuck! It's like a butcher shop down there.
I saw that in Evil Dead. It's done before.
No. Oh, dude, I just don't understand your terms.
I don't either.
Kills there, like there were good kills about the fucking movie.
I don't know if there was some. That part I was just more of the visuals. Like I don't like it. Didn't and I obviously because it wasn't directed by Argento. It didn't feel like it was his film. So like some of the colors and all that, like that kind of stuff that I liked in the original, just to me, I just didn't see it in there. And
okay, I see, and I thought they kind of toned all the colors down, and it was that this one had compared to the original.
Ouch. Sorry. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what they did, and like I said, that's the one thing I liked about the original, and they didn't do that. So I don't know
if trying to pull off that same color would have worked in this one.
It probably wouldn't have, especially however many, almost 30, 40 years later. And the last con that I had, which is something we kind of already mentioned, the weird Tilda Swinton dual role. I really was like I didn't. The makeup that she had on as the doctor was too distracting for me. I don't know what it was.
I did not realize that was her.
I like the dynamic that the doctor brought, but just for some reason, the visual of her in that role, and I didn't understand why they had to have her play that role. Just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I just think because dude, she can pull off any fucking role. I mean, there's so many things that she can do. Like I said, I didn't even recognize that was her. So,
overall review for me: don't watch this movie. I want my 2.5 hours back, please. Suspiria. I want my 2.5 hours back. Son of a bitch.
That was so fucking harsh. I fucking dug it. Yes, you need to stop halfway through, get dinner, couple bathroom breaks, hydrate before you sit down and finish it. But I fucking dug the movie.
Take copious amounts of drugs so then you can finish the rest of the movie. Because that's the only way it's enjoyed.
And, let's see, Cinema Reaper was like, that's what I hate about most remakes of got me new glasses, sorry. Talking about dulling down the color scheme and making them look ugly. I thought it worked for this one, because that darker tone in this one really sold the scenes that were going on. Just like the color scheme that worked for the original, this color scheme worked for the remake.
And I knew going into it there was no way they were going to be able to do that, which is that's one of the only things. That's how I literally said, like, I'm not trying to knock what they did in the remake. I'm just saying that's the only thing I liked in the original, and they didn't do it. That's. I mean, I guess I'm unfairly judging it because I'm sitting here saying, obviously they can't do that because it's A, the time period is different, and B, it's not Dario Argento. But
they could have, I mean, we've seen films that have tried to go verbatim for original to remake. I feel like they really tried to kind of like, hey, yes, this is a remake, but this is our angle on it. They went with a different color. They went with different visuals and different angles of the story, and I thought it actually worked. It's kind of like The Hills Have Eyes. They took something, went a little bit farther with it, and I thought it worked. And I liked it a lot better than I did the original.
Well, I think we'll go ahead and any time to do this, we'll slide right into a trailer and come back and do some more things.
At the beginning, she gave me things. Perfect balance, perfect sleep. Oh, she wants to get inside of me. I can feel her. Oh, she can see me.
When you dance the dance of another, you make yourself in the image of its creator.
I feel like I'm not even here yet.
The Unplugged's incredible.
1, 2, 3.
The way she transmits her work.
You have to decide, what is it you want to be for this company?
There's more in that building than what you can see, Doctor.
You are living with dangerous people. Three mothers, pre-God, pre-devil. Mother Tenebrarum, Mother Lacrimarum, and Mother Suspiriorum. Darkness, tears, and sighs.
You're making some kind of deal with them. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all a mess. The one out there. The one in here. The one that's coming.
We're back. We're here. I hear Giz is calling me out or something in the chats.
No, it's just more of like a education. He was saying that Tilda plays the two potential saviors to Susie, both of which are doomed to failure.
See, I like making Giz mad, so I'm gonna do it here. I watch movies to watch movies. I don't really like thinking very hard, so I wouldn't.
Oh God! All right, really? Like,
especially a horror movie. Like, I'm not really looking for Shakespeare out of a horror movie. I want people to die. That's all. I don't want your damn nonsense and your weird aspects. I don't know where I'm going with it. But I'll watch a movie that does that. I don't know like what words I'm trying to think right now, but yeah, it's a horror movie. If I have to think much,
dude, I give a movie more praise when it actually makes me stop and fucking ponder shit.
I'm literally saying this to get Giz pissed off, so I'm just waiting to see. I can't see anything either, so
he's probably having a fucking stroke behind the keyboard.
That's the best part is he's lashing like stuff at me, and I can't see a goddamn thing. So it's no skin off my nose.
His was just talking about how, which brought up a good point, is that they were both saviors that were both doomed to fail. And it was true, like the doctor, as much as he wanted to, failed. As much as the instructor wanted to, she failed, But both were trying to help her as much as possible.
The one thing they did that kind of goes with what the director did is they failed because they tried to make a good movie and they failed. So we'll just tie that all in big. We'll just tie that into a big bow and just say everybody failed. The heroes, the villains.
So So
I am an agent.
What you're saying is the film was too fucking smart for you.
Exactly. I'm an agent of chaos.
Alrighty.
And...
So, what do we do?
Well, before we get to Tuesday, we have Thursday. Thursday,
right? That's right.
We have the group chat where I'm probably gonna hear a full scolding by the Giz before we start. We're doing Umbrella Academy Season 2. I have positive thoughts on this one, so stay tuned for positive thoughts from Buzz. The exact opposite of this episode. And then, so it's Season 2 of the Umbrella Academy. I watched it, finished it last night. I enjoyed it and ate it up like a pie of deliciousness. And Tuesday, our original versus remake, we're gonna dumb it down and we're gonna watch Child's Play. No thought-provoking shit there. It's just a stupid person and a stupid doll, and they're killing people. That's all Child's Play is. So a bunch of voodoo, and I don't know about the remake because I haven't seen it yet. So it's kind of one of the reasons why I kind of went with it, because I'm like very intrigued how the remake was. So besides Giz, does anybody else have any parting words before I get kicked out of the GoreCast?
No, Cinema Reaper was like, now if a remake did a different creative art style while also respecting the original film style, it could look awesome. And I felt like that's what this one did.
Now, is he agreeing or is he disagreeing? Does he say it didn't?
It's just saying. No, it's just a personal opinion.
Okay, you know, I'm just trying to see like in who agrees with me and who agrees with you on.
Yeah, nobody's really disagreeing or. Yeah, nobody's. You know, they're just like everybody's just kind of talking about like, you know, if you're going to do something
by myself.
No, nobody's really jumping on anything. Just like, you know, if they're going to do a remake, I feel like they should do it this way. If they're going to do a remake, it should be this way.
Speaking of
like
remakes, you know what I heard today on the news? They're remaking 3 Men and a Baby. It has nothing to do with horror, but and Zac Efron's going to be in it.
Wow. All right. I did hear that they're going to do another Tron movie with Jared Leto.
Yes, I heard that too. The Joker from the shitty Joker is going to be.
There's 2 movies I'm disappointed about now.
Yeah, so that's about it. Thursday, Umbrella Academy Season 2 with the group. Tuesday, we got Child's Play. Sunday, I don't know what's going on. We'll probably hear that on Thursday.
We do get a after.
You have a what?
Short film.
Yes,
Johnny.
We have a film written, directed, catered, made by the Deadly One. I don't know what it is, name or anything, but it's a short film made by Johnny Deadly. It's Argento inspired. So it's perfect topic for today's topic. Yeah. So until we see you again, now it's time to say goodbye to Buzz and all his friends. Bye, Carter.
Bye.
Time.
What the fuck is going on? Somebody help!
Wakey. Why, you're a lively one, aren't you?
Who the fuck are you? Why do you have me here?
You don't ask the questions, my dear. I do. And he retrieves them for me. And I don't have the stomach for the hands-on violence myself. Makes me queasy.
Sometimes it's 2-1 for me. I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Oh, but I know who you are. I know where you live. I know where you eat. But you know what fascinates me the most? I know your biggest sin. I know the biggest sin of all. You are a lowly, parasitic piece of shit that loves herself way too much.
How dare you?
How dare I? How dare you? How dare you systematically fuck everyone you know over for your own personal gains? You cheat, you lie, you fucking you steal to fund your acting career, which mainly consists of you sitting on a casting couch talking about two utterly derivative student movies. Most recent, a little raunchy blue named England Invades America, which, might I add in my own personal opinion, lacks energy.
Who are you?
And you love yourself so much that you leave your little girl in an orphanage while you chase your dream.
Fuck you! You don't even know.
Oh, but I know. See, this is what I'm talking about, Henchy. Animals. They're all animals. Well, it's time for your first lesson. Show her.
No, please! No.
Will you be wanting another?
Oh, please, no.
Well, then lesson 1 is over. Don't spit in my face again! Do you know your biggest sin? Time's up! I want the bloody answer. I've repeatedly asked you for answers and all I get are questions. What is your sin?
I'm a piece of shit, okay? Like you said, okay? I'm a piece of shit, there you happy!
Don't try to play coy with me, Isabel. Trying to regurgitate what you think I want to hear. I know you don't believe it. I'm way too smart for you, Isabel. No matter. The fun is in the reprogramming anyway. Your looks is what you've been using to coach your way through life with. That is your biggest sin. Got it? You are so in love with yourself that you do not see anybody else around you. They are all just insignificant steps up the ladder to success. And each time you slip down that ladder to the bottom rung, think you'd learn your lesson, but no. Spreading your beauty and your talent around the world so that you can make our miserable lives a little bit better. Where in fact, you spread your legs and shake that ass around the world and nobody else is the better for it. Quite the opposite, in fact. But you're not so beautiful anymore, are you, Isabel? Enchi, time to finish the lesson. I'm bored of this one now.